Hey, zombie fans, this is Matt Jarbo, host of The Zurvivalist, your weekly podcast on zombie survival. And this week we have Shane from Los Angeles. Shane, how are you?
I'm doing well, doing
It's
well.
great. I know you're strapped for time, and I know you get to a graduation. So, zombies, what would you do?
Yeah. What would I do? Well, the big thing about what people know about zombies is that there is a number of different types of zombies, and there's a number of different types of survival for each type of zombie. So you first got to figure out what you're dealing with. You
Okay.
got to know if you got fast moving, slow moving, or something we've never seen before. We got to know if they're dead zombies or if they're live zombies or something that we've never seen before. But the first thing you got to do is get somewhere safe. Um, I'm looking for a place with minimal entry points and probably high up because when you get the elevated status, you can at least if you go to the top of the Pentagon, you're probably pretty safe because how many
Yeah,
people can get to the top of the Pentagon?
that's true. Would you,
Um,
well, would you, does that mean that you would head towards DC and the Pentagon?
no, probably not because if you're going, I mean, DC is the murder capital of the world anyway, or the US anyway, so it probably is not as safe. But I'm guessing what I'm going to try to do is get out to sea somehow. If you get if you get if you get to a boat and you get to if you clear the boat, that's the problem though. You got to clear the boat.
Mm.
Um, and because if you don't clear the boat, you got a snakes in a plane scenario, and that's never good either.
No, no, of course not. Well, now, when you get on the boat, would you, given that you're in Los Angeles, would you head towards like Catalina Island, or would you head towards perhaps like the San Luis Obispo Island, San Luis, like those Santa Cruz Islands or whatever those?
Yeah,
Called?
I would probably try to head because if you head towards Catalina, you're the problem is going towards islands is that they're inhabited. So what I would want to do is actually just get a boat that's already pretty much fully stocked with food and water. Because really, if you're on food and water and you got your like weapons that you can carry, you got your ammo and your guns, which I'm not even sure where I'm going to get that. So I'm gonna look for a crowbar or a bat. Frankly, I'm going to look for Casey because he knows how to use guns. I've never fired a gun, so I'm really in trouble with this whole apocalypse thing.
Yeah.
But if you, like I said, if you can get somewhere safe for a for an hour or two, and then you can kind of observe what zombies you're dealing with, then you have a much better idea. Because if I'm dealing with slow moving zombies, I can run. I can at least run and just hopefully not run into one.
Yeah.
Um, and because a lot of those zombies do they if you can figure out what they track you on, if it's sight, then you can hide. If it's smell, you can cover it. If you can, if you know, so you gotta. It's all about intel. It's all about knowing what you're dealing with.
So you
Uh,
take the intelligent approach, study them, and then learn to just move around them and not really cause a scene. Because a lot of people that I talked to on the show, they would definitely like they'd grab a gun and they'd just start shooting. They would try to kill, they'd go on extermination mission and try to,
right. See,
reclaim.
my problem with that is, I mean, trust me, that's the most fun. That's definitely the most fun, and that's your first reaction because you see all the movies where
Yeah.
that's what they do. But you're really a movie's a movie, people. Zombies are real. You got to know what you're dealing with. If you just grab a gun and start blasting people, if they can hear, then you're screwed. If they can see, then you're screwed. If they can smell, you're screwed. They're like sharks, you know?
Yeah.
Everything you do by shooting one of them is causing a problem.
Because the more they
Uh,
become aware of your presence, then they make the noise, and that attracts more. And then that's the real fear of zombies is on a one-on-one basis, you're fine, you can take
right,
one out, but like they will, it's like you versus the world, and they're a really hungry, angry, flesh-eating world, and they're coming at you.
right. And frankly, I'm also going to look for a slow person um, to grab onto and befriend because if shit goes down, it gives me a little bit more time to get away.
Okay, so you're just gonna like you'll throw someone. I wasn't sure if you meant slow physically or mentally. So
No, no, physically.
physically
Physically
slow.
slow.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I might get in trouble for some listeners for making that comment. No offense.
These opinions are not part of.
These are not related to KZOM Radio
Yeah.
or any of its subsidiaries or owners. No, but okay. So I can understand that. Yeah, you want to definitely have a person that you can throw. So you wouldn't want to be with KC at that point.
Well, no, I mean, I'm gonna grab Casey and then get a slow person because I'm not gonna be the slow person as much as Casey would like me to be.
Well, no, you see, it's like you guys got to work together because you have the you're going to go at it intelligently and he's going to look at it tactically, and you guys can work your way through
Yeah,
it.
exactly. You need a buddy, you need a pal, and you need someone who's gonna work with you because in the land of crazy, the sane are king.
Very true. Well, let me ask you this. Okay, so you get on the boat, and it's
Okay.
stocked. Where would you go? Like, where'd you take it?
Well, what I'm assuming by no matter what kind of zombie, because the no matter what they're gonna have to survive.
Yeah.
And after a while, if you go to, I mean, if even if you go to like Hawaii, now the problem with this whole scenario is if they can swim for long distances, that's kind of a problem. But the chances of that are less, I think, to me, um, than some of the other scenarios. So if they're gonna have to survive, if they're slow moving dead zombies, they really can't go anywhere. Every move that they make, a muscle tears, and eventually they die. Um, so if you can wait it out for a little while, um, and if you're on a boat, those radios and those signals and stuff are less, I think, less likely to you- uh, be just
Discard.
not stop working.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so maritime stuff will theoretically still be working because it's not based off of a lot of
Like electron.
electricity and
Yeah.
yeah.
Modern stuff.
So maybe you can find some other survivors out there and then band together because if you find survivors, by that point, unless these are, I mean, there's theoretically that they're not even zombies, that they're just a higher breed of human, and we're all screwed anyway.
True.
Um, so somebody's hiding in my basement until I find a whole bunch of people, and then they come out and kill us all. Um, but you can find some other people in boats. If you get to an island, even if you get to like Hawaii, like a smaller island near Hawaii, um, perhaps they've either killed off all the humans and they're out of food. The smaller island the better because it doesn't take as long to kill everything off. Kill off. They've raided everything, um, and they've started to deteriorate and die because they have no more source of food. So
Now, would you be worried about
that's
the human element at all?
you mean humans attacking humans?
Yeah.
Yes, obviously, because well, not obviously, but the getting to the boat and doing all that, yes, but to the point of people aren't sure who's human and who's not. I'm not as worried about humans attacking humans for malicious reasons because I feel to a point, but because I feel that um, if all of this is going down, people will when I see another a real person, I'm gonna be like, great, one more. I'm gonna be cautious and make sure they're not gonna kill me and take my stuff. But um, I'm gonna be a little bit. If they say I'm cool, I'm gonna be like, all right. Especially if you get to the boat and people are trying to contact each other, that's even better because
Yeah.
then they're searching for other niceties.
Well, at least that way
Uh,
you can work with them in the future. But actually, the episode is we're running out of time here, so I just got to ask you the last question. If
hmm?
you were bit, what would you do?
Oh, if I were bit, ah. Now, I mean, it depends on how quickly the whole transformation thing is, but you know, if I'm bit, then the rest of the world is probably screwed too. So zombies win, and I'm gonna become the mayor of zombies.
All right, so you just check in with Foursquare. I am the mayor of zombies.
There you go.
Lame joke. Anyway, okay, sorry. That's like the last thing we have to say for this week. Thank you very much, Shane, for being here. Be sure to tune in August 23rd to We're Alive's premiere for the second season, where Shane plays Lieutenant Angel. And that show will be premiering on iTunes, at We're Alive, or thezombiepodcast.com. The show is fantastic. It's amazing. I love it. I brag about it to all my friends, or I tell all my friends about it. And next week, tune in for Casey Wayland's, who's a creator of We're Alive, doing an interview on the show as well. So for all of you who KZOM listeners who want more KZOM, you can find us at facebook.com/KZOM Radio, twitter.com/KZOM Radio, youtube.com/KZOM Radio, or thezurvivalist.com. And we're also on iTunes and Blip and Zune. So just do a search for KZOM and you'll find us on the web. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week on The Zurvivalist. I'm Matt Jarbo. Goodbye.